All right, everyone. Welcome back. If you've watched the first few videos, I've introduced the cardology, metasymbology system, kind of talked about how it was the ancient calendar. It is the ancient calendar for our life here, our energy here on Earth. I've talked about the suits and the numbers, the meaning behind the numbers. So that's the astrology and the numerology combining there. And now I want to talk about the spreads today. So this is a really big part of the system, and we're going to kind of dive into the science of the spreads a little bit. And you can have a deck of cards and let that deck of cards create all of the spreads that you need to be able to forecast your energy and understand what influences are upon you on a yearly basis, on a 52-day basis, weekly basis, 7-year basis, whatever it may be. So spreads are really important, but I want to introduce you to them today so you can start to get a feel for them. In cardology, we have the perfect spread, which is the past life spread on the left here. And we have the grand solar spread, which is the current spread when we're born, our life here on Earth. So it's imperfect. And this perfect spread, or past life spread, or spiritual spread, starts with the Ace of Hearts, 2 of Hearts, 3 of Hearts, 4 of Hearts, so on, ending at the King of Hearts. And then we go to the Ace of Clubs, and then 2 of Clubs, 3 of Clubs, 4 of Clubs, 5 of Clubs, and so on. Ace of Diamonds to the King of Diamonds, and then Ace of Spades to the 10 of Spades, and then we move, I should actually go this way, move up to the Jack of Spades, Queen, and King. So that's why it's perfect, because those are the orders of the cards. That's the order of the seasons. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring being the hearts. Spring being the hearts. Summer being clubs. Fall being the diamonds. And winter being the spades. And then you can see that we have the planetary influences upon us on the spreads. Starting with Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune is the column. So it's a 7x7 grid, rows and columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have the crown line on top. Crown line is, think of privilege, think of royalty, think of power. Think of cards that don't play by the same rules as the rest of the spread because they sit on top, so they're a little different. We're going to read this spread from right to left and top to bottom. And we'll start with, let's say, the 3 of Clubs birth card. If the 3 of Clubs is your birth card, we're going to read this right to left. And then when we reach the end, we're going to go down and then continue going right to left. And when we reach the end, let's say the Queen of Hearts, we're going to loop around and come back up to the top and go right to left, down, right to left, down, right to left, so on and so forth. So that's how we read these spreads, is we're going to read them right to left, top to bottom. And we're definitely going to rely on these planetary influences when we start interpreting cards and we start analyzing the meaning behind them. And we're going to start using these planetary influences when we're interpreting our cards. I think the astrology people are going to understand this really well. It comes off almost like aspects in a way, so we're going to get into that. Let's go through an example. I'm just going to use my birthday. It was just my birthday the other day, June 2nd. So if you're born on June 2nd, you're a 2 of Spades. Your solar number is 41. That corresponds to the 2 of Spades. So with a 13 card life path, we can see where we begin. 2 of spades, the sun card, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, result. Some would say your Jack card, Queen card, King card, or Prince, Princess, King. It could also be self-transformed here. Whatever you want to do. Cards 11, 12, 13, which all have their own meaning and their own right, being in that position. But we see that each card is defined by a planet, and there's a number that's giving us insight into this meaning. So we have the planet here, we have your card number, we have your suit. So that's just an example of how you read it. When you find your birth card, you can go to the spread, you could look at your life path. This is your life path for, it goes without saying, your entire life, but for example, your Mercury card, the 8 of Hearts in this example, is going to be the first 13 years of your life. The 6 of Clubs is going to be the next 13 years. Your Mars position is going to be 13 years after that, and then Jupiter after that at age 52. So there's a pattern here. There's a scientific approach here. There's quadration that is alive with every spread that we get. Okay, let's keep using this June 2nd example. Let's go through these cards a little bit. Mercury is how we think, how we communicate. Venus is what and how we love. So my Venus is a 6 of Clubs. Through straight talk with words, through my intuition. Mars, what are you passionate about? What's your purpose here? And then your Mars chart is going to tell you, what that is. So in the case of, the 6 of Spades being your purpose, they're really here to act as a messenger to align consciousness for people. It's a card of health karma, so you could also be really passionate about health and about doing the right thing for your body to overcome the challenges of the 6 of Spades. Jupiter, how do we excel in business? How do we personally expand? How do we make money in our life, in our year? These are the things that Jupiter can bring us. We generally get to play the high side of this card, which is really nice, because your next card, Saturn, is our teacher in life, and we generally are going to play the low side of our Saturn card until we start to figure out how to get through it and how to play those high expressions and how to take those lessons and use them to better ourselves. So Saturn's our teacher in life. It restricts us. It's our disciplinarian. It's the card that we naturally play the low side of. So we have to find a way to play the high side. And in my case, for the 2 of Spades, that's the 10 of Clubs. That means not overdoing it, not overcommitting, not being a double 5 and being super restless and ping-ponging back and forth. The 10 wants you to learn to give space to yourself in the middle and not overdo it, and teach the knowledge that you have, shine and radiate that knowledge, but definitely make sure not to overcommit. Uranus, how we interact with groups, real estate. It also rules science. It's a new age planet. It's unorthodox. It's unpredictable at times. It rules science. It's like a super Mercury. This card could feel unpredictable to you. It could feel, tough to handle, unsure. So, in this case, we have the 8 of Diamonds as our Uranus card. With the 8 of Diamonds, there's physical abundance, there is financial abundance, and the goal is not to overpower and dominate others, but also not to be overly tenacious. And this is how we, in Uranus, how we pivot our life, pivot our lifestyle towards higher expressions. So Neptune represents our hopes and fears in this life. It's energy that we have to try to see more clearly and step into the responsibility of. The Two of Spades has the King of Spades here. It means you can dream of that power, dream of being the King of Kings. You need to take the steps to step into that. Might feel like a dream, but this is really how we travel up the ladder of success. This is Neptune energy. We need to lighten and lift up others as well while we do this. And then we have Pluto. Pluto is the deep inner work required of us. In this example, it's the Three of Hearts. And the Three of Hearts and Pluto is going to be, this challenge of following your heart, of knowing which way to go with your heart. It will not be clear. It'll take some time, especially as a Pluto card. When you have your Pluto card, it's important to look at your first karma too. What's underneath that Three of Hearts? What's underneath that Three of Hearts is the Ace of Hearts, which is self-love card. So if you have the Three of Hearts and Pluto, you want to look at, what makes me happy, what fills up my cup that makes me feel loved, and then also know that you'll have enough love. These Three of Hearts people are really afraid of not having enough, whether if it's Three of Diamonds, not having enough money. So they could be in between, doing two things they like, or two people, or just not following what their heart is telling them and listening to their heart. And it's very difficult because the Three of Hearts is a very mental card because of the number 3. It's a Gemini number, and these people tend to mentalize their relationships or their experiences with love or what they love to do, so they get in their head a lot. Okay, so those are your main life cards. The main cards in your life spread. When we lay this out, we get to the Three of Hearts, which is Pluto to transform. Then you have your cosmic reward, the Ace of Clubs, Queen of Clubs, cosmic lesson, cosmic moon, Ten of Spades, and then Five of Clubs. So you can see that right here, but I just want to go through the planets for now. Okay, so just another way to look at your life path, laid out like that, what it represents. I also want to make a couple points here. Each planetary period is going to rule a portion of your life. So Mercury, 0 to 12 years, Venus, 13 to 25, Mars, 26 to 38, Jupiter, 39 to 51, Saturn, 52 to 64, Uranus, 65 to 77, Neptune, 78 to 90, and then we start all over again. Okay? And you're going to have that for each birth card. And your decadent ruler card, which I'll get into as well. So you have these cards that represent these periods, but these cards also can represent people. Okay? So if you meet someone that's your Mercury card, you're going to think alike, or you're going to like to talk about the same subjects, or you're going to have really good conversation just in general, or a ton of communication, quick communication. There's going to be a Mercury component to your relationship. If you have a Venus connection, it's a really nice connection. If you meet a Six of Clubs as a Two of Spades, you probably really like that person. It just feels good. It's safe. It's nice. It's tranquil. So this is just a nice connection. Now, if you meet your Mars person, this person might be a little competitive with you, or they might instill purpose or aggression or initiative inside of you, because you're meeting your Mars person. And when you meet your Jupiter person, this person usually helps you out. They're really beneficial. They give you things. They help you. It's just a good connection for you. When you meet your Saturn card, you're meeting someone that might talk to you like they're your father or a disciplinarian or your teacher. they might be able to pinpoint your faults very easily. It's so easy, they don't even know they're doing it. Even if they're actively conscious or aware of this dynamic in the cards, it's very hard to get away from that feeling. Uranus is going to be a card of people that maybe come and go, seem really unpredictable in your life. You're good friends when you see them because Uranus is the friendship planet, but then you're not going to see them for a while, and then when you come back, it's just like nothing happened. So it's just an unpredictable, uneven, unorthodox relationship versus someone that's like in your Venus that represents love and family. Your Neptune person, you're never going to see them clearly. So if I meet a King of Spades, I might see them through rose-colored lenses, glasses, beer goggles maybe. Think about that. You just don't see their faults. Sometimes they seem too good to be true, and they probably are. And this doesn't have to be for love. This could be for friendship. This could be someone you work with. It doesn't matter. You just do not see as clearly when someone is your Neptune. Now, it is a good connection because you kind of see the best in them, and it's really good for that person. So that's really interesting. And the other cards, I would say Pluto is going to be very challenging as well. If you meet your Pluto, there's a reason that you're meeting them, and it probably is reminding you to do that deep transformative work in the cards that is required to figure out how do I play the high side of my Pluto, whether you're aware of it or not. This person's coming into your life for a reason, probably to be a mirror to show you like, hey, you know, this is something that needs to be worked on immediately. It has to be addressed now. So be aware of that. Some people will say you end up with your, I think this is the self-transformation card. Robert Camp calls it that. You could just call it your king card. Some people will say in your lifetime you'll end up with that person sometimes. Your queen card is the energy that you need to lead and teach by example. So when you meet these people are teaching you by example as well. So it rules your time periods, but it also rules your relationship dynamics. And it also gives you insight into the energy for, the different planets and what they represent.